All right, Jeff. Well, thanks so much for agreeing to speak with us today. I was wondering if you could just maybe start out by introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about your organization.
My name is Jeff Zawacki. I'm a local 81 steam fitter employee of the Syracuse Regional Airport Authority, which is it's a public benefit company. It has 24 nonstops. We have Delta, American, JetBlue, Frontier, United, and Allegiant that fly out of here. So it's like a mid-size for it's not like Atlanta or a New York City airport, but it's last year we had a record 2.6 million passengers
Wow.
that and planed and came in and left the airport.
Yeah,
However, due to COVID, it's down pretty significantly. It's
for
like
sure. Yeah.
63, yeah, like 63% down or something. So,
Wow. Wow.
but it's a work in progress.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
hopefully everything goes well. So
Yeah. Hopefully it'll build back to the original
yeah,
numbers you saw before. Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
hopefully.
yeah. And kind of the topic of this discussion is UR-GUV. How did you hear about it originally?
I first heard about it before this job. I worked for Siemens as a HVAC steam fitter out of that was an on-site mechanic at SUNY Upstate Medical Center and Krause Hospital, and they were putting in the pharmacy clean rooms. They were putting this type of technology in their airstreams and also in their ORs, and I didn't really think much about it back then,
Right.
but it made sense. It kind of makes sense now
Yeah.
because it's a clean room. You want to keep as much disease and all that flu like vaccine, the viruses and all that out. And it's air quality. You're going to get opened up in an operating room, so
Yeah.
you
You
kind of
want there to
want
be
to
clean.
you want to be clean. So that's where I first saw it. And
Cool.
then when I got to the airport, what I found was it was like I had one of the reps come in from Camville, Kathy Garuscio. We were talking about, I know Kathy from Upstate Medical Center because she does the filters and supply the UV lights there. And we kind of talked and I said, well, why couldn't we put them in here? What's the difference between a hospital
Right.
and an airport?
Yeah.
For obvious reasons, people are, they're sick, disease, operations, but the same principle applies. There is a number of people that go in and out. Just imagine going through an airport. There's a
Right.
lot of people.
Yeah.
So this made sense to us. And I didn't really propose it in October because you got to do like a budgetary thing and stuff like that. And then when this COVID outbreak came, I got to give my props to the CEO and all those guys up in the administration, Jason and John. They were great. They were so open to the idea.
Wow.
They said, let's get it done. We'll figure out how to pay for it later. But they wanted to make sure that we did something for this public because
Yeah.
back in March, nobody knew, the extent of this.
Right.
And at some points we still don't know,
Right.
but for the most part, that's how I kind of came to the idea of it. And,
Right. You sort of had
they
like
went for it and
yeah, you sort of had like a history.
I,
And so it was you that you really brought it forward to everybody and suggested it and they kind of all hopped on board.
yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. And then with the, I was I kind of was brainstorming because they have those upper glows that you can see in facilities, and normal people sometimes don't understand HVAC systems. If it's in an air handler or a rooftop, you cannot see that light. You don't know what it does. We can tell you, hey, yeah, it's in there, but nobody can see it. And when we put these upper glows in the TSA area and down the concourse, people can see it, and they actually, they'll maybe feel better about themselves when they know they're going somewhere, and that public health we're trying to help them. So
Right. Yeah, it's like you guys value it in a major way.
yes.
That's cool. Um, and then so how long did the installation process take from start to finish?
Well, it's a little complicated question, but for the most part, well, you got to get the okay first. And then I had my rep come in, Kathy, and she sized it up for us. And then we went to the manufacturers to make sure that, it's acceptable to put into these units. It won't, reduce airflow or stuff like that. And then we used the company UVR Resources. They're
Right.
out of Santa Monica, I think. Yeah, they're out of California, and they were great. I mean, any question I had, they really stepped it up. And so, getting back to the answer, from the time of getting the approval, the lead times were crazy. They were like 3-4 months because this technology is starting to get used. But the installation for a normal like air handler that you'd find in a building like this is probably 10 to 12 hours of labor time, because you have to figure out where you're going to put it, and then you have to figure out if you need more power because of the bulbs, the amperages and stuff. The rooftop units are a little easier to install. The particular product we used, there was about 8 hours. You can do one unit a day with probably 2 guys, so you figure 4 hours. If I just say 8 hours for one day, you probably get one done. So,
Cool. What was the commissioning process itself like? So did someone have to come in and take a bunch of measurements and?
Yes, the original there's a form. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh yeah, totally.
They on those upper glows, they need to be 7 foot, from a minimum 7 foot tall. And in theory, if they're installed correctly with the manufacturers, there shouldn't be an issue. But they have it's a radiometer, radiometer, and you would put it at eye level, wherever this fixture is. You put it at eye level at 66 inches, and then you measure out at 39 inches, 79 inches, 118 inches, 139 inches with this tool, and you should get a 0. If you got some readings, then you have an issue, but all of ours were 0. I don't actually have the copies of these yet. We did order our own radiometer, radiometer, but they're back ordered, so we rely kind of on the supplier to come in and let us borrow it, because we check them periodically to make sure everything's good. So
that's good. Yeah, yeah. I've heard a little bit about the measuring and the meters and stuff like that. So it's good to hear a little bit about that process too. And so how have like people in the airport reacted when they see it? Has anybody come to you with like worries, or does it give people peace of mind, or what is the reaction?
Well, when the first upper glows we put in were in the TSA area, where our passengers go through. And the TSA was curious of what these things are and what are they doing, because they're going to be standing in the vicinity, not all the time. They're always moving, but and I went through it and explained to them what it does. And as far as I know, we have not received any complaints or concerns about what's happening. Our communication and marketing department's been great, putting stuff on Twitter. Yeah, I mean they've been really they really did a good job, putting out the word.
Right.
So
that's amazing. That's great. And I feel like since it's such a big organization and so many people fly through Syracuse, this might be a hard question to answer, but have you guys had any cases traced back to the airport? Have there been any like outbreaks or anything?
Oh, that's a kind of loaded question, but I talked to our HR lady, and it's hard to quantify if there actually was cases. You've heard that there were. There's so many people. This is such a high exposure place.
For sure.
Every day. We kind of try to limit our people that are working here. Whoever can do remote stays remote, and with the absence of planes, arrivals and departures, there's not as many people in the airport. It's best of the knowledge that there's been a handful. So, but with HIPAA laws, they don't have to tell you I
Right.
assume they would tell you if it was really bad, but for the most
Right.
part, knock on wood, we've been pretty good here.
That's
So,
awesome. Yeah, yeah, that's great to hear. Um, and so last question, have you guys within the airport have whether it's with employees or people passing through, have you guys implemented any other like layers? So asking people to wear masks, hand washing, social distancing, etc.
oh yeah, we did a ton of things with the UV lights in the air handlers and rooftops, the upper glows that are in the TSA area and down the concourses. We have signage, to alert people, 6 feet apart. We got industrial cleaning, like a mister. It cleans all the seating areas. So we've put stickers on seats, kind of like spread out people,
Right.
which probably a lot of airports have done. We also, it's not mandated here in New York for this facility, but we went from a MERV 8 to a MERV 13 filter.
Okay.
And that's been challenging because they're in short supply. So
Okay.
it's implemented. It's just going to take a while.
Mhm.
It's like I said, the essential workers like myself, we kind of don't mingle with people, not to
Right.
be, just kind of stay away just so
Yeah.
people can try to be as safe as possible. And we also put in, I think Atlanta has them, and Arizona, Phoenix. We put UV lights on apparatus on the elevators, handrails, because what we
Oh, wow.
noticed is a lot of people didn't grab the handrail when they went on the stairs, and that's a safety hazard.
Right.
So we've put out on social media and stuff that these are UV. It's like a same UVC technology. It's
Mhm.
just it cleanses the handrail.
Is it something you wave over the handrail, or is it something that's permanently fixed over top of the
It's
rail?
permanently fixed. If I can find it, maybe I can find a picture for you
That'd be
while we're
cool.
still doing this.
Yeah.
It was something. Anything that's going to help.
Right.
Give me 1 second here.
Yeah, no rush.
How many have you done of these?
I think this is our seventh one, which is great. And people have been overwhelmingly positive about their experience with
Yeah,
it. So,
it's a good. I'm trying to get you a good picture. Okay. So they kind of, can you see that?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
They sit on the handrail, and
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's a little DC motor that creates the power to sanitize that handrail when you go
Right,
up. Because we were finding, like I said, people weren't using handrails, and
right.
you'd have to clean them all the time. Because every
That's
time
pretty
someone
innovative.
goes,
That's a great
yeah,
idea, honestly.
that was a Clearwind. I think it was Clearwind. It was an idea from the big boss, Jason
Right.
Terry. He suggested it, he saw it and researched it, and he was all for it. So that's the one thing here. We've been most of the part ahead of the curve.
It
When
sounds
we
like it.
first put these in, we did a couple Zoom meetings with I think it was Long Beach, and then there's a couple other airports, and Syracuse University, the big university in this town. We did a big thing about it because they had a lot of questions, and
Wow.
since we had experience with it, we kind of
So
gave them a
people,
little direction.
yeah,
So
that's awesome. Yeah, is there anything else you'd like to add that I haven't asked you about?
if you're going to go to this technology, you're going to have to understand that uh, there is a long lead time now because the supply chains
Right.
demand is up.
Great point.
They last 9,000 hours. It's basically a year, and they have to be changed every year because once they lose, I believe it's 15% of their wavelength, it's not as effective.
Hmm.
But it's something that, like I said, is noticeable and does bring positive vibes to when you come in here. So, and people feel better because it just I can't. It's hard to explain it, but that the air is better. We don't see the mold and the stuff that you get in typical HVAC systems, and it's good for the system because it actually saves money. It cleans the coil. It's better efficiency. There's a lot of other benefits to it.
Right.
So, and it's been around since the 40s.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's been around a long time, so
Yeah.
it's stayed the test of time. So
Yeah. It's pretty incredible. That's some great extra information to leave off on.
yeah,
So
it's been around a long time, and there's other products that are out there, but some of the other products at certain levels will put ozone, create
oh,
ozone,
really?
and you don't want ozone in your building because
Right.
it's not
Yeah.
good. So that's
Yeah.
what happens like when that wavelength. I think it's like 250. I don't understand all the little notes, you know, the cm squared and all that. But once it gets down to a certain amount, it will create ozone. That's the problem. So
Wow.
yeah,
Good to know.
they're pretty much maintenance free too. You just make sure they're lit, and then 9,000 hours.
Let it be. Yeah.
Yeah, because we actually hook it into our building management system, and it kind of gives you a timer. Kind of tells
Yeah.
you, you know, there's a place for it. So it's actually a pretty good deal. So
Wow. Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Jeff, for taking the time to talk to
yeah,
us today. I appreciate it so much.
yeah. Stay safe.
Stay safe. Thanks so
Yeah.
much.
Talk to you. Bye.
Bye.